is record. She posted on Instagram a video of her singing, not "Killing Me Softly," but what is it, "Ready or Not" by the Fugees. And Lauryn Hill has a part where she uses the term nigga, and there's backlash now, and she's had to come out and apologize for the fact that she was saying nigga in the song. In song. Let's be clear. It's in song. It's not, well, I mean, they got a comedy sketch of her saying nigga too, and it's a comedy sketch. I'll say that. And, you know, so
there was a white comedian that said the N-word that me and Jeff saw back in Las Vegas. Who was that, Jeff? Not Carrot Top.
Don't tell a person. No one wants to be told what to do. I don't give a fuck how old you are. You know what I'm saying? Especially adults. No adult wants to be told what to do. Never like, you should do this. No. You can recommend. You know what I mean? There's a difference in your delivery. When you talk to somebody, and you're talking to a grown man, you're talking to a grown woman, you know, you should do this. No, you should. That's your shit. Let you live your life. What does a great record take you when you listen to it? Coming from a very, very heavily influenced musical family, whether that was gospel music or 70s funk, 60s Motown, or even the eclectic sounds of the 80s, and even jazz, you know, for that matter, like contemporary jazz, like Norman Brown, Kenny G, Najee type shit. When I hear a great record, one, it takes me back to the first time I heard it, and then it takes me back to where I felt, or the way I felt when I heard that, what was going on at the time. And if it's, I mean, even some records I'm not able to, you know, there's some records throughout my life that I was not able to listen to, whether that was somebody that died's favorite record, or a song that came on while getting that, you know, type of news, or if it was like when I was in a relationship with a woman, and she would be like a fan of, I don't know, a particular artist, and whenever that song would come on, you know, it would be tough to listen to. It just shows that there's parts of you that's unhealed. But those records, I mean, you can feel them. You literally can feel every song that, like, as far as that you consider to be a great record. And mind you, music is very subjective. So, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when I hear something that means something to me, there are a few albums throughout my life that definitely represents my childhood. One, New Edition, Heartbreak album is probably my favorite album in childhood. And next to that would be Messages from the Boys by the Boys. And because, I mean, my first memories come from when I lived in Cuba, you know, at Gitmo, being a Navy brat. And while playing Nintendo with my cousin, playing Nintendo with friends in the neighborhood, I would play New Edition, Heartbreak album, like back to back to fucking back. I wanted to be in the group when I was younger, and hell, I'll still be in the group. I move better than half of these motherfuckers do now. That's been proven when I went to go see them in concert. But the Boys, yeah, I was very, very big fan of the Boys when they were big, especially, like I said, in Cuba. But when I hear songs, like certain songs, like when I was deployed, some friends of mine, pretty good about choosing music. So they made this, this mixtape, right? It was just a mixtape of just old soulful records, because that's how we all, you know, relate to one another. Communication. It's just music that our parents played, namely my father. I mean, don't get me wrong, my mom played some secular music, But for the most part, my mother tried to stay on the straight and narrow when it comes to that, as far as listening to gospel. But like listening to the likes of a Natalie Cole or Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Bootsy Collins, I'd Rather Be With You. Like every time, I challenge anyone watching this to listen to I'd Rather Be With You from beginning to end. Just hearing the sound of, the bells, you know what I'm saying? And that funk guitar, it just hits you. And for those of us that's fairly young, you know what I'm saying, like that hadn't heard it obviously from their parents, if you watch Baby Boy, it plays in that movie too. Songs that, they take you to a place of, sometimes you can feel pain, sometimes you feel no pain. Bob Marley, Waiting in Vain is like probably one of my favorite Take Me Away records. Whether that's just me getting in a car or me just getting to the beach, Waiting in Vain is one of my favorite records, like I said, of all time by him. That and Stir It Up. Stir It Up is, you feel that. You can feel that. It's very peaceful. It's like a very peaceful record. Speaking of peaceful, Al Johnson, I believe is his name, that sung the song Peaceful. It's a dope record too. You have to Google that to check that out. That song, Drift Away, especially, it just talks about the plight of being a man. And they say relationships is great and all that stuff, but sometimes you just get away, you know what I'm saying, in your own mind to be free and, balance yourself. Because life can be draining. You know what I mean? But even women can relate to that. But that's just the premise of the record, is what you're speaking from a man's perspective on that. There's so many. Like I said, there's so many records. The first time hearing Patti LaBelle's If Only You Knew, like the intro. I'm a big fan of like intros. And an intro will set the motherfucker off. At least back in the day, like your parents' records or consider your records, whatever it is, like those songs, you felt that shit. They almost got you, like I said, it got you on the floor, like listening to Ready for the World's Love You Down. Let Me Love You Down, excuse me. And then I know Jay made Love You Down, but originally Ready for the World made Let Me Love You Down. And those are like your prom records, you know what I'm saying? Like the Last Dance records of the 80s. And I question myself, like today, what the fuck do the kids today listen to at the prom when they go to the prom? Because I don't feel any love records, you know what I'm saying? As much as as prominent as it was in my age group, and even my age group was getting influenced by hip hop. But before that, like, my aunts, and then take into account my parents, their age group, because, there's a little bit of an age gap between my mom and her sisters and stuff like that. At least her baby sister. So when I refer to my aunt, I'm referring to like somebody born in like the early 70s, you know what I'm saying? She was into like Guy, Levert, Belle Biv DeVoe, New Edition, New Jack Swing, Heavy D. Oh Lord knows, my auntie loves some Heavy D. But like when they had prom, they had songs that you could play to make you know what I'm saying, want to get close. Try to set up something after the dance, you dig. But like, I don't believe that. I could be wrong, because I don't. Again, I'm making an unconscious assumption because I don't even listen to this shit today. But I just don't feel it. I'm gonna say that I don't feel. The few times that I've listened to radio or whatever current music, I don't feel love. You know what I'm saying? The way that I do when I listen to something that something that was popular during high school, because there's an emotional connection to it because I lived that, you know what I mean? And then before that, like growing up in the house, hearing Isley Brothers being played, hearing Heat Wave played nonstop, Ohio Players, like I said, Natalie Cole, Betty Wright, just a gang of various funk and R&B artists that were played. Curtis Mayfield, Isaac Hayes, Barry White, what's up? Endless. I can talk music, endlessly, because of my love for it. It's a passion. It's something that I wanted to do, still want to do, and eventually will do. I'm too stubborn to fail, as I love to say. But like these records, I feel I drift away. It's a drift away feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can remember being in, like I said, 7th grade. Uncle Sam, I never want to see you. I don't want to ever see you again. Breakup records, hard breakup record. But that's what happens. That's the life of the beta, and that's what it was. Like she left for, you know, the better deal. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that had their shit more together than I did, as far as a boy, but essentially like what felt like you liked as a, you know, that a young girl liked and shit. But it's about being the best at what you know what I'm saying, working on being the best at what you do. You know, being the best version of yourself. And at that point I wasn't, but because of that, I would listen to, you know, I Don't Ever Want to See You Again by Uncle Sam, and I didn't cry or nothing like that. I just felt really sad, not depressed, just sad. I felt like that was the thing to do when you used to listen to that record, that you're supposed to match those feelings. But really, what does it mean now? But like breakup, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel those breakup records, you feel those records that talk about love. They talk about finding that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. I mean, at least it sounds good in theory. But like those songs, you felt them, you know. And I don't feel much love today. I hear a lot of breakup shit. You know what I'm saying? Your Summer Walkers, you know what I'm saying? Type of records like that. What's the one? Bust the Windows Out Your Car, Girl. Jasmine Sullivan. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very talented. They're very talented. But as far as the aspect of love, us bigging each other up, you know what I'm saying? Musically, more of that Raheem Devon, Mo Better. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is, if I were to sweep a woman off her feet, Raheem Devon, Mo Better, Google it, Spotify it, iTunes it right now. That is the type of songs that you feel. And Raheem Devon, I don't believe got enough light in his heyday. You know what I'm saying? But that is one record. That and Marathon. Marathon is sexy. Marathon is very sexy. That's something you can play when you're trying to give her the dick, you know. But yeah, like records you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like just having that neo soul, Eric Benet and Tamia, Spend My Life With You. Music, what is it? Don't Change. Music's Love. Music's Better Man. Music's Today. I can go on forever, you know what I'm saying? Brian McKnight, someday, some way, somehow. Tyrese, what is it? Shame. What am I supposed to tell these kids? Great record. I used to say that line all the time. It just sounds funny when you do it, because you see Tyrese crying all the damn time online. But when I listen to a great record, I drift away. I go to a place where no one can fuck with me. No one can reach me. It's essentially meditation. It's therapy. All in all, I love my music. What do you see the disconnect in communication between adults and the youth? Well, number one is that both sides feel like they're right. So essentially ego. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we have the advantage because we're older as far as like talking to like the youth. But you have to remember to look at things from the other side. As an adult, if you were trying to be reached, the worst thing you could ever do, and I don't care how old you are, is dismiss how a person feels or how a person sees something. You know what I'm saying? If you're not able to get at them the way they feel, and the least that can be done is understanding how they see shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to dismiss how they see it, because it's not a right and wrong thing. It's only merely perspective. When you have these conversations with the with the youth, and you know what I'm saying, and even adults, because you know how you have them people come around, you don't know what you're talking about, because you're young, gipper, gapper, you thundercats, down block, you know, old Otis. But like, but seriously, having the courage, the patience to listen. Effective listening is a one-sided affair. It's looking a person in the eye, making eye contact so let them know that you're engaged. It is letting them talk and not preparing your response while they're talking. And it's very fucking hard, and I know that we all do the shit because we think somebody does. You know what I'm saying? But effective listening, I believe, is just letting that person talk. Looking at them in the eye. Letting them know that you are engaged. Letting them know that you are there to allow them to be heard. Because really all we want. I mean, since we were babies, that's all it's ever wanted. We just wanted to be heard and loved. That's it. So if we can work on listening and not feeling like our word is better than anybody else's word, ego, we could get a lot further. You know what I'm saying? And we all get sidetracked, myself included, if we're believing that our way is the right way and, you know, shit like that. But with our youth, they have so much to offer. Hell, they got more creativity than most adults do because no one's torn them down yet. See, adults are simply, I believe that some adults are merely people who have so much creativity and then something drastic happened, traumatic happened that they could not, come back from it. And then they just spend their time being Eeyores the rest of their fucking lives. You know what I'm saying? When there's still so much life to be lived. And we all have something to give. We all have something to offer. We all have some things that we're passionate about. But we let fears or what have you, limit us. We allow a person's opinion to affect our creativity. That person's limits has nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever limits they have for themselves, that's on them. By all means, do what you want to do. You can cap yourself off. See how high your fucking tree can grow in this life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why? You're like, I can't do that. Why not? Who said that you couldn't do it? We are not children anymore. We have the freedom to become whatever the fuck we want to be. It might take a little more effort in certain things that we want to do, but block out anyone that's telling you that you shouldn't do that. Don't live by a fucking should. Live by what you want to do. Respectfully, that is, you know what I'm saying? Don't, put in a position where you're taking advantage of people. You know what I mean? Like projecting your own insecurities onto them. But live your life the way that you want to live it. So, and that's what our youth are doing. They're just figuring shit out. And somehow along the way, we as adults have learned that this is it. This is how life's gonna be. We put ourselves in this box instead of keeping our creativity and imagination. The power of imagination, it's amazing to have. If you can keep it, if you can keep the power of your imagination, there are so many things that get created based off of imagination that we can tap into. And if you allow the naysayers, the negative people, some people just be fucking with you. They don't even take it that serious. They ain't really hating. They just so used to saying hateful shit in fun that it's just the norm. But you can do things. There's so many things that you can do. And you should find out what you can do and find out if you like it, if you don't like it. You know what I mean? Don't put yourself in a box. It's too much fucking life. You know what I mean? There's so many people across the world doing different shit. There are people that come from outside of America, take advantage of the shit that people in America don't take advantage of. Come here, build businesses, make money, and you sitting there crying about you ain't got no goddamn Wi-Fi password or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We're entitled. We're spoiled. Some of us, that is. Some of us Americans are fucking spoiled by the luxuries of life, you know what I'm saying? Like the material things. And there's people that came from nothing that come here and create everything for themselves and their families. So, said to disconnect with the youth, just encourage them. You know what I'm saying? I believe that the way we can reach them is by listening. You know what I mean? Obviously, don't give advice unless it's asked for. Just listen. People want to be heard, and allow them to grow. Don't tell them what they shouldn't do and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? You can recommend, you can show them consequences of actions. Don't tell no one wants to be told what to do. I don't give a fuck how old you are. You know what I'm saying? Especially adults. No adult wants to be told what to do. Never like, you should do this. No. You can recommend. You know what I mean? There's a difference in your delivery. When you talk to somebody, and you're talking to a grown man, you're talking to a grown woman, you know, you should do this. No, you should. That's your shit. Let you live your life. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as parenting goes, I'm not saying don't, you know, obviously guide your children and all that stuff, because you got to do what you got to do. But as they get older, you just may want to veer away from that you should shit, you know what I mean? Because then they're going to start living their life through you. And that's not what we want. We want our children to have their own lives. You know what I mean? We want ourselves to have our own lives and not live to the, you know, like the plight of somebody else's wants and needs and desires. Have your own wants, needs, and desires and live that and love that person unconditionally. Let them do what they want to do. It's their life. We don't have to be in the cool group. It's not middle school. We don't have to do middle school shit where, you know, oh, if you want to sit at this table, we're doing this, you know, type shit. No, make your own fucking table. You know what I mean? And teach that to the youth. Once the youth can, what I've learned, at least an experience of just having conversation with the youth and all that stuff, being an adult and being I'd say a fairly big kid myself in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But still having that maturity, if you will, to mingle amongst my peers. Like talking to the youth, they truly just want to be heard. They have brilliant ideas. As far as like them not being able to grasp what we already know, we already been there because we're seeing things. You gotta understand, they're seeing it from a child's perspective. So if you're trying to gauge, it's like selling a product. If you're trying to sell your product to someone, you have to engage as to why that person in that particular predicament needs this particular product. So you don't talk to them like they're adults. You talk to them like they're children and put it in their terms. So, you know what I'm saying? So they can feel heard, you know what I mean? Because our kids go out of the house and communicate with other people who don't know what the fuck they're doing that are their age, you know what I'm saying? They'd rather, what type of sense does that make? I mean, from a logical standpoint, does it make sense that our children would rather go outside of the home and talk to somebody who doesn't really, who more than likely may not give the welfare for them and care for them, you know what I mean? Simply because they don't feel heard at home, or they feel like they're going to be judged, or they're going to be this way. All we ever wanted was to be heard and somebody to understand us. So how do we do that? We do that by listening. And if we don't learn to listen to one another as adults, as youth, then yes, we're going to go outside of the means that we have and try to find what we feel was not at home. So learning to communicate, that's the number one thing. It's like listening to our peers, listening to everyone, learning how to listen. Truthfully, we can do a lot of talking, but how effective is our listening? Can we be great listeners? And I believe we can, with effort. Yeah, with effort, we'll be able to just communicate amongst one another. And it's crazy, like when you have conversations, when you haven't talked to somebody for years, and then you get their perspective, because now the emotions have died down, but you get their perspective, and then you give your perspective, and you realize that was just a mere disconnect over something so small, and you wasted so much time because you did not talk things out. And we're all, like I said, we're all guilty of it. We all, we're human. You know what I'm saying? It's what we do. We think, we try to protect ourselves. If we feel pain or hurt or something like that, we'll do whatever we can to protect ourselves. So, like I say, the best way, I believe, the best way to bring our youth and adults, especially parents, having, young kids and especially teenagers, that teenagers, we know every damn thing. So, it's the aspect of listening, learning to engage, trying to create an environment where they feel spoken, where they feel heard, where they feel seen. and then we can start from there. I mean, that's just with anything. You know, when a person feels heard, feels seen, represented, then they're more inclined to listen to you. But if you come with the tyrant shit, yeah, they'll listen to you because they have to in your house. But when they become adults, they don't want to talk to your ass, and that's not the focus. I don't believe that's the goal for us as parents, as, you know what I'm saying, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whatever. People want to be heard. And you come off like you dismiss how they feel, all that they're young, they don't know nothing, they don't know what they're talking about. As if you do all the damn mistakes that you continuously fucking make in your life. Daddy, mama, grandmama, auntie, uncle, cousin, yep, all cousins. Just recognize that you're human. But all in all, just listen. That's it. Take time to be an effective listener. Would you rather be rich and unhappy or broke and happy? For me, I'd rather be rich. I'd rather be rich and unhappy. And yeah, I'll pretty much explain why. I have the means to pay a therapist now that can essentially show me where inner happiness comes from. You know what I'm saying? As to where being broke and trying to survive and, you know, being, and ignorance is bliss essentially, you know what I'm saying, and being happy. I mean, of course the Stoics say, you know, it's about being, happy is about being okay with less, more so than wanting more, if you will. I can tell you this, there's a lot of things that I can do with money, and it's essentially continue to move on from rich to wealthy. And that's where I see myself, you know what I'm saying? Not just for me, but for my family that follows me. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, you know what I mean? Any other child of any sort, you know what I'm saying, that follows, whoever's involved, like I said, family wise, you know what I'm saying? Surrounding people, friends, you know what I mean, that have businesses that they want to start but don't have the means of doing so. I'll be in a position to where I can do that, you know what I mean? And that's why I would rather have the rich aspect versus the broke aspect, because like I said, being rich, there's a lot of freedom that comes, you know, like to do things, that is, you know, and do things for others and do things with your, the people that you value when you are, you know, like essentially rich, as they say, or you have money versus not having it, you know what I mean? And you constantly, and it takes money to make money. So it's like the happiness thing, whether you're broke or rich, I mean, you can have all the money in the world and still be unhappy. But it's more of an inner thing, you know. It's an inside game, you know, that we're playing here as far as happiness goes. So if I'm playing an inside game, both on the broke end as well as on the rich end, you damn sure believe I'm going to take the rich, you know what I mean? Because there's so much more that you can do with it. I mean, of course, more money, more problems, biggie, baby, we get it. But it's like being financially literate. You know what I mean? And once you become financially literate, understand how money is earned, not made, but earned, you know what I'm saying? You figure out what you can do with it, where it can go, how it can make you more money, how you can make money while you sleep, and go and to be able to travel the world, you know, essentially make it to Bora Bora, eventually gonna get there, whether that's to live, retire, or if that's just to visit. But Bora Bora is definitely still, you know, high up on my list of the places that I want to travel to. And that's just a goal. That's just going to be a goal. And but like I said, being rich and unhappy. that unhappiness, I mean, there's no guarantee that you will be happy with money. There's no guarantee that you won't, for that matter. I'll take my fucking chances and be rich and unhappy and learn how to be happy, if you will. Teach myself to essentially find happiness within. You're not gonna find it outside of you. People can compliment your life, but the happiness is truly about you, and you won't learn that until you learn to love yourself. Now, if I'm gonna love myself, I'd rather love myself rich than love myself broke. Don't get me wrong, I would still love myself essentially broke. But if it came down to the come down, I want to be in a position to where I can help myself as well as others. And it takes money in this world to do so. And it gives you a lot of freedom, and you don't have to deal with certain type of behaviors. You know what I mean? Like living in a place that is truly like really, really affordable. You know the type of behavior that comes with that, versus living in a place where that's more pricely, and then you have more peace. You're paying for peace is what you're doing essentially when you're doing that. So when you have money, if you can put yourself in a position to where you can be in a log cabin away from society, and everything. Have a lake, go fishing, chill. Meditate. Essentially create a spa for yourself mentally, and those are the type of things that I would love to do if I had the means of doing so, the money to do so. And these are just things that I think about in my mind when it comes to the decision of being rich and unhappy, or broke and happy. I know what it's like to be broke and happy. Essentially grew up that way. There was there's no bill on my name. My parents might have had money. I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, some of the best times of my life, I didn't have any money. I practically just I sang songs with my little brother off the computer, you know what I'm saying? And then I would play video games with, friends in the neighborhood, and also, my cousins. That was our thing. That's what we would do. Broke and happy. I would say I don't recall being necessarily sad. At least I wasn't aware enough to even know to be sad. I think that's where I think awareness is like a gift and a curse, right? Because if you don't know any better, you don't know what you don't have. You know what I'm saying? All you know is that this is life, but somehow along the way we meet comparisons, and I think that's where social media is another gift and curse. Because there's upside to having social media, but I believe the downside is the comparisons. You know what I'm saying? It's you'd be hard pressed to not compare. You get so caught up in other people's lives that you don't take time to recognize yours. And the happiest people are fine with what they have, no matter what it is, whether you are broke or rich. You know what I mean? Like, you're just fine with what you have. And when you're constantly, thinking about what you don't have, you're gonna be unhappy. And I don't give a fuck if you got money or you don't have money. But thankfully, that's what, my roots come from. My roots come from, not really having, that glamorous lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, being appreciative of what you had. And you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you give me my room, video games, and some music. That was life. You know what I'm saying? Watch a little bit of Martin and Living Color Def Comedy Jam, study that, try to implement those comedy routines into your personality. You know what I mean? And that was life for me. With a little bit of food. Don't get me wrong. A little banquet chicken nuggets out the freezer, in the garage. But these are summer days, outside of going to school. But these are things that I was okay with. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that I got my own, I have my own place, I have my own car, and things like that. But these are things that I look at as just survival tools, because it doesn't really make you who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, the person that you are is when you have nothing. You know what I'm saying? I believe that. I truly believe the person who you truly are, is who you are when you don't have shit. And that's because that's all you have. And that's, a lot of us You know what I'm saying? Like in my family, come from that. You know what I'm saying? All we had was each other. And some of us were happy, some of us were unhappy, depending on when trauma hits you. You know what I'm saying? But like just having money and being unhappy. Thankfully to therapy, studying mental health, studying spirituality, and detaching yourself from from an identity, believing whoever it is that you think you are, you know, which is nothing but the confines of the ego. Once you're able to accept such, then you can essentially be okay. You can find happiness when you find out what you're not. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not this person you created, your ego essentially, and trying to live up to it. You're not the material things that you have. What you are is a being, a human being. And that's where spirituality comes in. You know what I'm saying? Just understanding that you are literally just a being. And life is about who can you how can you make other lives better? And then once you, and depending on how well you can, you know what I'm saying, make people's lives better will determine what you become in this life, what you earn, as far as like financially what you're worth. Now, you don't need money to know your worth. You know what I mean? Like your true worth, you know what I mean? Like inside and all that, in your head. But financially, how can you help others make money? That's how you make money. You make money by making others make more money. So how do you do that? Find your passion. Find something that you're really, really good at. Essentially, if you're doing what you want to do, I don't think you become unhappy. I feel like I believe that you essentially learn how to express gratitude. So yeah, rich and unhappy, I look at that as I just need to practice more gratitude, because I would have more than what I would have when I would be broke from a financial standpoint. So it's just about switching your mentality, you know what I mean, your mindset. So if I can go from being rich and unhappy, I switch my mindset to rich and happy. Essentially, the world is my oyster, and there's many things that I can do. There's people I can help. Having boundaries, that is, because you don't want to go MC Hammer on these niggas, because people ain't worth two dead flies smashed. They will drain you if you let them. Money, time, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It will drain you if you let them. Have your boundaries set. You know what I mean? But if I had to choose one between rich and unhappy, broke and happy, I'm damn sure taking rich and unhappy. So, favorite strategy for avoiding difficult people. My strategy is to remove myself. That's it, honestly. When I'm around people that I really just don't, I'm at a point now where I've gotten so caught up in the spiritual realm that it's energy for me. If I don't feel the energy like is doable, I'll remove myself with no fucks given.